Hey everybody, guess what season it is? It's the silly season. Welcome into the podcast, Strange Conversations, and I'm your host, Yo Ange. Let's get into this. It's the silly season conversation. That's what we're going to have. And you know what that means? It's almost Christmas. We've gone through Hanukkah. Hanukkah's done now here in New York, and it's a big deal. But now we have one more week until Christmas, literally 1 week, and then it's Christmas. And after that, it's New Year's. It's the silly season. And this is when everybody's feelings are amped up just a little bit extra, okay? And you know, when we're live streaming, and I think every live streamer who does this kind of thing, where you do walking streams, has had this happen. A lot of people will interact, not just with the chat, but they interact in real time on the streets. And it could be something as simple as a smile, a nod, a wave to the camera as you're walking by. It can be somebody shouting out, "Hey, Yo Ange." It can be somebody saying something rude as they walk by because, I don't know, that's just what they want to do. But during this time of year, it gets amped up. And this past Sunday, when we were live streaming, we actually had an interaction with somebody where they approached us. Now, it was really quite funny and very, like I said, people approach us all the time. And a lot of times it's like a fan or somebody who's curious and they'll say, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And I'll say, "I'm live streaming." And they go, "Oh, great." And then they're curious. They want to know more. And what platform? Is it TikTok? Is it YouTube? What are you doing? How many people do you have watching you? And if I say, "Oh my God, we have 300 people watching right now," they're like, "What?" They freak out. And they think it's great. For the most part, very, very positive. Now I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, but you can't film people without their permission," things like that. Okay. Before we delve into the experience, let's get this stuff out of the way. Okay, guys? When you are in public, you don't have a reasonable degree of privacy as you are in public. Now, what that means is you can be filmed on the streets. You are filmed on the streets. Okay, if you are walking anywhere in public, you are probably more than likely already being filmed. Okay, either security cameras, and I'm not talking about just the government or the city or the police. I am talking about there are video security cameras everywhere. They can call them security, they're still cameras. Okay, like there's stuff in front of apartment buildings, stores everywhere. There are people walking around. There are so many tourists here taking pictures and video. You do not have any degree of normal privacy being in the public, okay? And let's just say, in the US, it comes down, and this is, I've Googled it and everything else. Guys, I was doing professional photography for a long, long time and stuff. But in the US, it comes down to where one would expect a reasonable degree of privacy. So you cannot record someone without their consent inside their home because they have a degree of privacy they would expect there. But if they're walking on the sidewalk in public, you can record them since they are in a public space and therefore have no real expectation of privacy. Okay? And it's pretty simple, pretty straight cut, And the same thing goes for, like people could say, "Oh my God, you record people or a conversation." Well, specifically, it's not even really a conversation I'm filming, but even if you wanted to get down to that, in New York, we are a one-party consent state. What does that mean? That means that only one party must have consent to the recording of an in-person or telephone conversation. In other words, if you are a party to the conversation, you may record without the other person's consent. I'm recording a conversation. If I'm a party of it, okay, no matter what, I have the right to do that, okay? That's how it is in New York. There are very few states, and I'm going to think it's less than 10. It's like maybe a handful that you have to have both parties consent, okay? New York is not one of them. But anyway, moving on beyond those legalities, I can record while I'm walking, or else we wouldn't be able to do this. You would have to ban every camera and every phone everywhere. you know, because we all have cameras on our phones now, and it's very much a thing where people actually will film or record whatever they want because they want to. That's how they record their lives. We live in a world of social media and instantaneous gratification of documentation. Okay, that was a lot. You just experience a lot, and we had a most beyond experience recently on one of my live streams. And when it happened, all I thought is, oh my gosh, I can't. Guys, I can't. And everybody might have knows, many of you who watch the channel probably know what I'm talking about. But as a live streamer where I film in real life, walking the streets, I have a lot of things that happen. So guys, I'm going to show you the clip right now of what took place. And it's just a short clip of what took place on Sunday and how I was approached. Because this does happen. And I know I've had people ask me, what do you do in those instances? Because people can say this. This is the video. Guys, sometimes I meet the craziest people on the street. South side of the block. Okay, cool. Thank you. Hi, Animix.
Was it on when I was going over? Please don't do that.
Do what?
Was it on while I was crossing the street?
Honey, I'm not paying attention to you.
It doesn't matter.
You're in public.
You're in
Camera everywhere.
Cameras everywhere.
I'm not showing you. I'm not showing you.
I'm just asking for the consideration. It does not like
You're not. I'm showing the world. If you happen to walk in the world, I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not showing you, ma'am.
And I'm asking for any part of my attention. That's all. It's just publicity, the image. New York.
Okay, make sure you contact New York City that you don't want to be on their cameras. Thank you. Bye-bye. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. As you see, she comes up to me. I had not had the camera focused on her, really. It was just in a peripheral kind of way. And then she approached me and started asking me to not do this and not do that and please have the consideration. And she kept going on. And I'm like, why are you asking me this? I had no idea. Now, everybody goes, well, she's a Karen. Now, you guys know I have a sister named Karen, but whatever. That's just what they call them, Karen, whatever you want to name your things, okay. But she was just one of those people that was, she was expecting this super accelerated degree of privacy on a public street. And I wasn't focused on her. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to film her. I wasn't. And even when I explained that to them, they didn't accept that explanation. I don't know what she really wanted me to do. If she felt like I was going to stop the camera and delete everything or throw the camera in the street or what she was expecting. But she didn't, no matter what answer I gave her, it wasn't going to happen. I don't know what it was. And I didn't understand at that moment why she was so triggered. I figured it out afterwards. But at that moment, if she had just kept walking, it would have just gone on. You know, no big deal. Nobody would have noticed you. Nobody would have cared. But because she made a big deal. Now, this is where I get into it. In New York, we are all doing what we want to do to get to where we need to be. And it's a trial. Like I have always said, New York makes you work for everything that you want or that you have to do. So we're all in the shiz together. Like we are all in the mix. And if it's raining on me and it's raining on you. That's just how it is. So we all in New York have this level of expectation of decorum towards each other. Let them alone, they're not bothering you. That's the kind of thing it is. If they're not bothering you, let them alone. And apparently this thing, whatever I was doing, you know, streaming was triggering this person. Come to find out afterwards, after I had ended the live stream, people saw the video live and what had happened, because then I realized after I reviewed the footage afterwards, that was weird. Why did they look like that? And then we realized it was a celebrity trying to be an incognito. And then it brought it all home to me that in New York, we don't care if you're a celebrity. You want, like, a lot of celebrities come to New York because they can be like anonymous. Even if people recognize you, we don't care. We are all in it together. So you could be like a top A-lister celebrity, and it was. But if you're going to be like that, we're still going to treat you like any other person. And it's kind of funny because actually what happened was that when I responded to her as a normal person, I feel like it almost escalated it because I didn't recognize her. I'm so serious. But because I didn't recognize her, it almost like made it worse in her head. And I'm thinking, what? I'm not doing anything and stuff. And it didn't make any sense. I mean, they want to be anonymous, but then they want to be recognized in a way. And we're going to treat you the same no matter what. That's part of what is so glorious about New York. People are just people. A big celebrity or somebody that's seen on a daily show or in a million movies and stuff like that pretty much can live a pretty kind of normal existence. So what happens when you run into a celebrity in New York City? I get asked this all the time. Have you ever run into a celebrity? Have you had celebrity sightings? Will we see people on your channel? Guys, you know, I do run into celebrities. I live in New York City. I live in actually Manhattan. So that's where a lot of them are going to be. And I'm going to tell you, I am the worst person for recognizing people. I could recognize somebody that's like an actor, a comedian, anything like that, a celebrity. I may recognize you, but your name will be like, poof. No idea. You guys can go through my shorts and I will tell you so many times. I saw this person on the subway and I couldn't remember their name, but I knew the character that they played in such and such movie. That's how I know them. I'm terrible at it. And then what was even funnier is that incident that I had, I didn't even know who she was. That's what's so funny. She was so incognito that I didn't recognize it. On the other side, when celebrities get like in their own head that they should be afforded a different level of, I don't want to say courtesy, but expectation. They have a different expectation level than the normal. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be like, well, because you're a celebrity, I'm going to, I'm not going to do what I'm going to do. You're a celebrity. No, that's not how it plays. That is not how it plays, at least not in my book. I mean, some people might want to be like, well, they're a celebrity. They are no different than you or I. That's how I view it. And some people say that's being mean. Some people say that's being a bee. You say what you will. It's the truth. And I used to think that way. That, oh, they're a celebrity. We must give them more. No. If you're going to, in this instance, you're going to approach me on the street and then have higher expectations of privacy because you're on the public street. No, it doesn't work. So guys, let me say, it's the silly season. Everybody's everything is amped up a little bit higher. I get it. We're all a little bit more stressed. You know what that means? It means we have to have a little bit more cocoa. We have to have a little more tea. We have to have a little bit more space. And as I said before, here, I'm not going to mention who the celebrity was. Everybody has pretty much figured out who the celebrity was and stuff. But it could have been anyone. It could have been any celebrity, any popular person. Listen, we are all in this together. Let's just hold our hands and we walk through it and we'll get through it together, guys. It's not that big of a deal. We wouldn't have noticed you if you hadn't said anything, okay? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. This is Strange Conversation. That was the strangest conversation, by the way, that I have had recently. And you guys were all privy to it. And it was live in real life on Yo Ange. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye.